Friends, I cannot say ladies and gentlemen, you know, the approach is changing in Europe. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Skillman International Forum 2024. With little bit delay, as ever, we start this important meeting for our community, in which we are bringing all our efforts from the past year. And we have the occasion to share our expertise, our commitment for the future of education.
Mission. We have a video message from Natalia Martinez Paramo from DG Internal Market, Head of Unit for SME Pillar. So I would like to ask Alessandro to put it online.
As you understand, from home they have no problem because they are following the streaming and the video, but we forgot to switch on the beamer here. So if someone of my staff can help, please, calling the technical support. No, nobody is asking, listening. C'è qualcuno del mio staff che può aiutare, per favore? Sì, we can.
We will switch, so we'll have.
The problem is the same. If we have no the beamer, yeah. We cannot. Okay. So Claudia is solving the problem.
well-known, right? Is a mobility program for new entrepreneurs, no matter their age. It's a unique chance for them to spend time with an experienced host entrepreneur abroad for up to 6 months. The new entrepreneur receives a monthly allowance to go abroad. And the program is offered for participation all year long. We don't have cut-off dates. All that an entrepreneur needs to do is to contact the local contact point, like Giovanni and the team, and ask for the most suitable business partner. The AI program is a life changer for many participants. In fact, the entrepreneur jumps from the present to the future, from the very beginning of an exchange. I create an
Digli che è ripartita la scheda. Ops.
knowledge. I will particularly thank and congratulate those among us today who have participated in the program. These entrepreneurs have contributed not only to their own, but also to Europe's success by learning from other entrepreneurs, starting or consolidated their businesses and spreading the word about the business opportunity that they use in internal markets. So you in different cultures and languages and broader people's world. Exactly. What is needed in today's world so often associated with crisis and global conflict? Going abroad for some months to another European country also helps people to develop their professional, social, and cultural skills. Participate, get
Skillman.eu. Even before that, the European Commission started to source with Erasmus Plus the Centers of Vocational Excellence. So we anticipated a little bit this drive, and now we are putting all these experiences coming from different of our projects and contributions to the Codes.eu model for excellence in Tibet and arts and in life, I would say, for the future of education, bringing inspiration from, in particular, two publishings. One was the first that we exchanged ideas on, the Centers of Vocational Excellence book from ETF, and the other one is the Powering Learning Society During the Age of Disruption, which is of our keynote speaker Sun Tzu Ram, who will speak at the end of the month. If I will stop to speak, because otherwise since I'm getting too long. So these are the models that we are trying to inject in the idea of innovation. And in this idea of innovation, I have my dear friends here. You can see Floriana and Elisa at the table of the Tracks for Craft. They are, I think, the best person, not because of friendship, but in terms of expertise, that can help us to understand this connection among, I would say, the engineering and the Tracks for Craft fields, which is not just crafting, but even more wide approach to other disciplines. So we will hear this important support from them to understand how we try to connect the engineering skills with other skills that are not normally considered belonging to the same side. We are trying to put together the things. So there is, in my mind, there is a new paradigm which is coming to my attention. I was in Turin, inspired by the conference of ILO, reflecting on this aspect, like the phone contracts, phone rates. So I was saying, yes, we have the new human capital. I was reflecting. So the first step is that if you have skills and someone recognizes your skills, so you can propose your skills to market, not just the time that you work, but your skills, like Alexa. You know, Alexa switch off the light, exactly, but it works. This is a skill. You pay the skill. You pay the access to the skill because someone has written this skill, and then you use the skill. So you can pay, for example, how many times you use the skills, how many hours. But inspired by the rates of the telephone, now you don't pay anymore the minutes that you are in conversation, but just the possibility to call in your country or to call abroad. You have different rates. These are flat rates. So why you continue to pay working time in hours instead to pay the availability of skills? And this is the human capital. Now we are not buying the human capital. When a company hires someone, it's not buying the capital, it's just renting the time. Buying the human capital or having the human capital has a different meaning in my imagination. And so this is the new approach I envisage for that, and skills can be provided, and workers can represent the human capital in terms of skills. So the skills belongs to you, belong to workers, belong to us, and the skills represent a value. So in this regard, we have this challenge which comes from the past, because in these examples, Leonardo and Filippo Brunelleschi were having the knowledge of their skills because they became famous. But what is about people that are not famous? who can recognize that you are able to do something which is important and that can be transferred in the market. The value is your skill, but if nobody recognizes your skill, it's like that you have a lot of money, but nobody see that you have this money. You want to buy something, they say, oh, give me the money, but I give the money, but they say, where are the money? Because you are not recognized. Like Filippo in the beginning, when he was proposing his expertise, they say, hey, no, but you, sorry, you are an artist, why you want to make this big chapel, which is incredible opera, you cannot do it. So you can present yourself even before to become famous if there is a system that allows you to make it. So in this regard, the European Union is helping us. There is an important debate. There are many steps that are already done, and we are working within this ambit. The European learning model is expecting to work with micro-credentials and to recognize these credentials, moving, as I was presenting in the first slide, moving the credentials from the institutions to the individuals. What does it mean? Now, when you get a certificate, you are certified by an institution which conserves your certificate in its premises. It's a centralized database system. So I am an engineer, and you recognize me as an engineer. If you close the database, I'm not anymore an engineer because nobody sees my credentials. So in this regard, there is a way to help the progress to move from the institutions to the individuals, because with the blockchain, this is possible. Passing from a centralized database system, which is the existing one, to a sharing of ledgers. So each member of the blockchain can have the official list of certified people in practical terms. So we are working for facilitating this progress, and we have launched this EQR platform to help verifier to check that the issued credentials are real, and to then finally move from the centralized database to a blockchain system. So in this ideal scenario that I'm presenting now, you can see the old system in which there is a centralized database, which is the verifiable data registry, and there is an issuer, which is the institution, for example, your school, and there is an holder, which is the learner or the student, and there is a verifier, which is for example, the company. The company wants to know if you have this credential. So the company check if the certificate is true. Okay, this is the classic ideal scenario in which we are replacing the centralized database with the blockchain. In particular, we are going to bring these certifications into the European blockchain system infrastructure, which is a blockchain specifically addressed to credentials, learning credentials. This is a very important step, I think, because you can use any blockchain like a cryptocurrencies, but this is a specific blockchain designed by the European Commission to help us bring certification into an environment which is specifically addressed to learning credentials. So to go in this direction, we have we are now working at technical level to finalize the capacity we have to write on the European blockchain system infrastructure, and we are now we are in progress in that, but we are now in the step that will bring the green parts become up. So we are now writing in the testing mode in the European blockchain system infrastructure. And I think that since January we will be able, as a Skillman community, to release digital credentials officially in the European blockchain system. So this is something in progress. I cannot exactly promise the day, but we are there. The door is open, and all our members can benefit of this approach, as we are. For example, with Open Liverpool University, we have this strong engagement to implement the system. This model needs more partners. So this is another call for action for all of you and colleagues at home following us on the streaming, because we need partners to implement the DQF.eu platform, the system for writing on the European blockchain system is open. We need your partnership to test, making the finalizing the testing drive, and to start to officially release these credentials to our learners, to our students. I think I have now ended the presentation of the fields that are characterizing this meeting and the visit to the villa and the excellence, how we intend their excellence. And now I'm going to invite you to the next step, which is the Skillman Alliance Summit, which will be in the next months, and that's to invitation to participate and to remain engaged, not only for the annual forum, but even during the year with the other meetings and steps. So this is the end of my presentation. I would like to thank you very much, all the participants, for being here, all the authorities that even if they are not here, I would say because of this accident, and okay, plans change quickly. My team, my colleagues, and the team I belong to, which has allowed us to arrive here all together. So I would like to thank them. And then I would like to say that this presentation that I have done is just to inspire you. If you are digital enthusiasts, then we can work together for the qualification framework, which will be, I think, one of the main engagement of 2025 by myself. Thank you very much.
I pass the floor, actually, I invite to the podium Urs Hauenstein. Sorry, for me it's always been Urs, so if I mispronounce the surname, I apologize. Who will elaborate on the legal regulatory declaration of the principles of Hop Festival of Future.
Qual è il problema? Però questo non lo legge?
Sì.
Non si può Cosa sta facendo?
Many thanks. Dear colleagues, dear members, dear friends. I'm very honored and happy to speak here directly after Grande Giovanni. And I really need to say that because he is the spirit of development of Skillman, and you have seen he even has started the paper. So he is starting all the processes. So I really like it. So when I thought what I should take as a short presentation, and really very short, then I thought that we all not have yet understood that the Riga Declaration is a gold nugget. I really have to say, I have visited this PDF document, which you can download from the website of Skillman, and studied it several times. And I want to speak about this Riga declaration very short. I really think that it is a must and a need for you when you see it to download this PDF and to take this PDF into your communities where you are embedded, and that you are making a discussion round with your people around you about this incredible paper. Thanks to the authors, Filippo Del Nino, Giovanni Grisona, and Rupert McLean. And it is really, when I say these compliments, I really think that this report is academically written and very good, referenced. And when I look to the outcomes, it is really very special. And I want to show you one slide out of this report. And you can see the fields where the report, the Riga Declaration is speaking about, for future needs in this world, where Skillman is needed and where we have to make a transformation for the future. Entrepreneurial learning, which started at the beginning from Brussels, important. And by the way, I know schools in education where even in the kindergarten fields, they are starting creating entrepreneurial skills. It is needed to have entrepreneurial skills. I'm writing on a book in the final phase about this field of entrepreneurial skills because I believe that entrepreneurs are caring about their services and products and are taking the responsibility for that when they create something. So I think we all have to behave more entrepreneurial in the future. Digital credentials, micro-credentials, evaluation, you heard from Giovanni. Giovanni was last week, it was not 2 weeks ago, Giovanni. You was a crazy man traveling last week to Liverpool, signing the memorandum of understanding and creating a workshop in the field of digital credentials, digital badges, and doing the digital badges for all participants of this university project, of this Hope Festival for the Futures, and it was incredible. So all are passionate about the competencies of Giovanni in our university. Innovation in vocational education in Tibet and training fields important. I think Tibet is one of the core fields of the future. Social inclusion and excellence for all, advanced manufacturing skills for traditional craft knowledge. We all know that craft knowledge is at the moment on a turning point. If we lose it or if we can implement it more for the future. Digital competences and responsible use of artificial intelligence, ethical initiative, values in skill sets, green revolution, and when we speak green revolution, then we have to speak as well about blue revolution. I'm at the moment helping a researcher team in our university for the future of green and blue economy, and learning factories and skill rings. All important fields. Please download this PDF and have a look. I spoke about last week in this Liverpool Hope University Festival for the Futures. It was our first edition, so a total starting point. And We don't have any experiences in that, but we saw that the positive response of students, of staff, of guests from abroad confirmed us that it should have an edition 2, 3, 4. We need it as a series. And you see, we have not that detailed setting what you can find in the Riga Declaration. Therefore, I really have to say, we started small with some fields who are important, social inclusion fields in the peace development, but we are going in the same direction, in the direction of futures. We say futures, or we say future, but future will happen anyhow. But he has to say for a good future. I think that is our impression, to look for a good future. Giovanni, I said last week, was there, has created a workshop about digital badges and the next steps. Incredible. And I spoke in my workshop about a new, how can I say, a new story for the future. You will see that soon. But I spoke as well about green and blue, or blue and green economy. To bring it small, I learned to bring everything small to a point. You know, can you see this? You know what this is? Not only something good for squirrels, is it as well important for us? It's a nut. And therefore I learned to speak about in a nutshell. You know, in a nutshell means in brief. So the formula for a smart futures is, and I created that in my workshop, IHIT. Internationalization, humanization, individualization, and transformation. So for the final, Alessandro, show us a small video. I'm a president and a founder of a broadcasting network in Switzerland. Therefore, I want to show the final in a very short video. Until Giovanni is ready for this, I show you. Okay, no, that's okay. Can you see this? It's the outer of an object. Do you know
Okay, sorry, we can you hear us? You're up on video, or you don't know it?
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you with the lower the volume.
Um, I hear you, but I don't hear anything else.
The most important thing is that we can hear you
Okay. Okay.
and see you. So you
No, I can't hear you.
you can introduce yourself.
No, my name is Marianna Forleo.
Okay.
Okay. Something I want to ask you. Hello.
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 Can we drop a chat?
Yeah,
You can say that we can see her and hear her, so she can introduce herself.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
What you can make your presentation. We can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Um. Okay. I cannot hear very well, but I think it's feasible. So, just a second. Can you see my presentation? Can you see it? Can you see it?
No.
Hello?
Maybe we move to the next speaker and you can chat with her and you can help us setting up the presentation.
I'm chatting.
So we have Massimo. If Massimo is not available, Thomas. Thomas, thank you very much. UNESCO Chair on Tibet and Competence Development for the official work from the technical level. Thank you very much for coming to the event.
Ho bisogno di fare una pausa qui e presentare tutto. Io che devo andare avanti, sì, pure mi sta scrivendo. Ecco, come si fa a cercare di lei? Io poi faccio chattare con lei. Allora, adesso per come cazzo li faccio a fare con questo? Lo trovo io con questo programma di chat privata, salutino. Ah no, chat con tutti i nostri. Però dove la trovo qui? Il salottino, io vedo solo salottino. Non è riuscito. La musica, sì. Sei contento? Lo so, ma abbiamo un sacco di problemi, diciamo. Il problema è la musica, non me la vado proprio già. Ma questo non lo faccio. Provando a accettare, ma questo non abbiamo. Ah, ecco, ce l'ha fatta. Abbiamo le grandi, grazie.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for inviting me to this meeting. I'll give you a speech on our work at Technical University of Dortmund, and a little bit beyond. For what we do is we are involved basically actively about my person. So I'm a professor at the Technical University of Dortmund, and I'm in charge basically of my bread and butter job, educating vocational teachers, teachers at Dortmund, normally master level, and so that's what we are in charge at our university to do technical teachers, teachers of social faculty, and business administration, basically the entire range. And of course, we have to do research and development. So I have a background, action research background. So I want to get involved, we want to change something, we want to participate in changes and development. Because we believe we have to, we believe that this is one of our societal tasks, contribute towards change and innovation. Because as you know, it's really difficult. It's not always very easy to change things, especially if you are embedded in systems which have no tradition. And so what I will do today is I will give you a small overview one person maybe, which is not, it's not very rare in Germany that professors from other universities who are in my position, who are doing basically vocational education, academic level educating teachers, but they have a background from TVET themselves. So I started my career as a bricklaying apprenticeship. And after my bricklaying apprenticeship, I you hear me? Okay, thank you. Oh, sorry, I wasn't aware of this. So after my bricklaying apprenticeship, I underwent it. Can you hear me now? Yes. Okay. I became a TVET teacher studying at University of Hamburg. I worked in the TVET system in Hamburg. Since I worked together with Gunnar, he was working for a different school in Hamburg at that time. It was 50 TVET schools. And then I decided to go back to university. I was working on a beautiful research project which was about workplace learning, informal learning in TVET. Did my PhD. After that, I went to Asia for 3 years. So part of my presentation will be about Asia. And now I'm having the professorship with the Technical University of Dortmund, and UNESCO awarded me as well the UNESCO chair on TVET for competence development for the future of work. So what we do, we are involved in TVET projects and in internationalization. We are involved in TVET projects in digitalization. We developed together with industry and training institute, a beautiful device for a digital assistance system for metal industry, plating, drilling, and we are of course involved in sustainable development project, educating in-company instructors for the construction sector in the area of sustainable development. And we are still strongly cooperating with the network from Asia, the so-called Regional Association for Vocational and Technical Education in Asia. I'll give you a few slides on theory because I think it's important to understand our way of thinking. Of course, this is very much according to German standard, our way we look at TVET. I don't want to bore you, but a few ideas I would like to share with you. Number one, we know that so many fields which are pressing at the moment on TVET systems, and somehow we need to find ways to accelerate the dynamics of change. So it has an impact. We cannot wait. In many areas, we cannot wait until the change has an impact, innovation has an impact in 20 years. That's too long. At the same time, we need to consider of how do we prepare now our students for a world or future which we don't know. And as the students which we are teaching now, we had a discussion earlier on this, will be actively involved in the labor market until 2065, maybe longer. At the end of their careers, they will educate young people in a TVET system who will be well beyond 2100 active involved in the labor markets. How do we do this? Because since we don't know what the future will bring. And digitalization, decarbonization, internationalization are actively pressing, and we are involved here, but not only this, there are other aspects which are pressing heavily on the TVET system. It's inclusion, it's gender equality, it's basically all the sustainable development goals. And what's becoming more and more pressing point is democratic education, global citizenship education for those who undergo TVET as well. I've been working in maybe 40 countries worldwide, and what I observed is One point is the way we look at TVET. We look at those who are subject to the TVET system. And what do we want to achieve? There are many systems worldwide here on the right-hand side who are totally fine, accept the idea of there are those who go into a TVET system, be it informal, be it a formal TVET system, but then there is a glass ceiling and they cannot progress. There are others with a different background, they go directly to higher education, and then they are supposed to be the decision makers, the managers, and I think there are other ways on this, but that's a society discussion. We started this discussion in Germany some 40 decades ago. So we want those who undergo a TVET system. We want them not only to be the ones who are waiting for orders, we want them to be able to analyze the situation. And then self-reliantly to act according to the situation, not only with regard to the profession, not only with regard to the job, and society, and family, of course, too. This is important. This is the whole way to regard these things. And this is, of course, something, if we implement this into TVET, we have a basis for advancing, we have a basis for lifelong learning, we have a basis for promoting those who start with the TVET system in such a manner that they can progress into higher education. And our societies need people who have practical experiences, practical competences, who know how the shop floor is working, how it functions, and progress to the level of planning and decision making. This has an impact here on the way we want to bring together with our different learning venues. We combine 3 different learning venues. Sometimes it's a school, it's a training center, and it's a workplace. We want to educate for skills. Of course, we need to get skills. The labor market wants this, and if we want to educate and train our young people in such a manner that they are being absorbed by the labor market, then we need to address skills. But not only skills. Skills in the sense of, there are many TVET systems where they say, okay, why would we want to do a 3-year program? We can do 6 weeks, that's it, off to the labor market, and then go and work until the rest of your life in your profession. Or in what you have the competence to require. This is not what we want. We want this to be balanced with education. So those who are good and capable have the chance to progress. We don't want to dry up the labor market. And we don't want to look totally on education only. There are systems, of course, who are very theoretical, and there are TVET systems which are purely theoretical. The labor market knows and says we cannot use those who come from this system. So it needs to be balanced and sustainability. The precondition for sustainability is to balance the interest of the labor market, the interest of the individual, and the interest of the society. That's complicated, that's complex, but we need to think in that direction if we want to have a TVET system which is attractive for all stakeholders. So a little bit coming now to TVET research, right? I think it's important to promote TVET research. That's basically our share solution internationally to promote TVET research. We want an action research. We want to get involved. We don't want to be those researchers sitting at a university who don't have any kind of basis with the praxis. We want to cooperate with praxis, and that's important. We are the ones who, from the university level, will bring into the labor market, will bring into the TVET system information, preferably information. This can be focused on the way TVET systems are structured, or basic innovation. Let's say technical innovation in the context of artificial intelligence or so what you often observe, what I often observe, is you have here this is basically the TVET system. You have the policy level, you have administration, big problem in many countries. Well, we have decision makers here, but how do we administrate those decisions in such a manner that they get the ground and improve something? So this is basically the core TVET system with 3 different learning venues. Many countries, especially in Southeast Asia, there's international organizations like UNESCO, like others coming in, giving policy advice, and somehow give basically, those who give advice coming from a foreign country often that's a problem of we have this as a topic and what's interculturally necessary in order to implement something new. And what I've learned from working in Southeast Asia is if I support our colleagues in conducting research and finding solutions, that's what it is about. Find solutions. You know this from yourself. Your own solution is always the best solution, it's the most sustainable solution. If you capacity, if you help your colleagues to find a solution based on a process which is visible and clearly visible, they go to the ministries. The ministries are very open to change and very open to implement something. So that's what I've learned here. So what I promote is that we need more research capacities, preferably action research oriented capacities, people who get involved, who can exchange with the international scientific community, because there's a lot of knowledge out there. So we have this habit of reinventing again and again the wheel, but there are so many wheels already out there. But how can we communicate if we don't have a group of people who are working here on this level? So our task is to promote policy recommendations based on evidence and to improve directly to cooperation with this level the transmission of decisions to the ground and educate people who will be able to work here as experts. So praxis. I come now to what was founded in 2014. When I was sent to Asia, I was asked to enhance research, joint cross-national research with universities in Southeast Asia. I had my office in China and Shanghai, but most universities in Southeast Asia. And so now there is this regional association of vocational and technical education in Asia. When they founded themselves, they have a constitution, they are a non-government organization. They are basically, they share the interest in improving vocational teacher education, in improving TVET systems, in improving the research on TVET systems. This is a long, breathtaking process, but they embarked on this process. You probably know this, but universities in Southeast Asia not only are active on national and master PhD level, most universities in Southeast Asia have TVET programs as well, or operating TVET hubs or supporting. So this is basically the network at the moment, which might be interesting for you here and there. If you are interested in cooperating with them, please contact them. They're open for any good ideas, as long as it contributes somehow to their own objectives, of course. And that's a vision and mission statement from their constitution. That's something which I've told you before. They want to support regionalization, standardization in the region. ASEAN is basically lagging 3 decades behind the EU standardization processes, unification processes, and that's a different case because they are culturally more diverse than we are. But nevertheless, they've embarked on this process, and that's interesting to see. And some after wants to have an impact here. And as I said before, it's about teacher education and research. So, and they have, because this is necessary for dissemination, you need to disseminate somehow. And then when I work the colleagues approached me from Indonesia primarily and said, can you help us to publish something? There was nothing where they could publish. You know, and if you only earn 150 euro a month as a professor in Indonesia, you cannot possibly pay 500 euro for publication. And so we set up this online journal here in Asia, and please have a look at it. And if you feel that you want to share something, please be invited. What happened is, and sometimes I've observed this from time to time, that you don't have a clear objective. There was no clear objective in the sense like let's have TVET research institutes all over the region. But the fact that Raft is there as a regional network now, the fact that we are discussing about how to progress TVET research and development of TVET systems. They decided in Malaysia to have a Malaysian Research Institute for TVET, MyRivet. It's very close to Crivet, so basically Crivet from Korea was basically the founder of this name, MyRivet. And very recently, there are two more university research institutes on TVET. So what it basically showcases here is there is demand, and there is a will to change something and to contribute towards change. And what I observe sometimes is that people in Southeast Asia, is because this economically vibrant region, and their experience now grows. And so better chances here and there, with all the problems which we had a few decades ago. But they are more open to innovation than many of us are here in Europe or in Germany, speaking from Germany. Interesting is this, what they've invented here or installed here in Thailand, in Chiang Mai, in the north of Chiang Mai. Well, we are talking in Germany about dual system, fantastic, but they have here a tripartite system where industry and universities and TVET providers cooperate in a system which is meant to have a structure or have the structure for continuous innovation on the engineering level, subject-oriented level, and on the level of improvement of teaching and learning, which of course includes validation as well. So the perspective is, what it is questions, how to find own TVET approaches and solutions that fits the cultural background. And I understood, include them. They find their solutions, and their solutions are good, and then they will become sustainable, and they know their culture. So I don't need to assess, I don't need to go into a seminar of cultural differences. They will do the job. But cooperation is the basis. How to enhance cross-national exchange of best practice, existing approaches. We need more dissemination and find maybe with artificial intelligence, maybe we can employ more faster approaches for the exchange of best practice. How to accelerate adaptation and innovation through TVET research, administration, operation. Of course, and how to build up and sustain capacities for research and development with TVET. If you want to build up capacities, it's not a 3-year project. It will be a lot longer than 3 years, but you need to start so earlier. And it's our task to think about and to implement, of course, what's basically theory and practice, how to address the difficult topic of change. And how to engage in this. Be aware that people, if they hear upskilling and reskilling, of course, upskilling and reskilling is necessary. But if you want to teach an old dog new tricks, you have to think about how to do this. You know, sometimes they understand what needs to be done. Everybody knows, every smoker knows that it harms his health, but it's never brought a smoker to quit smoking. So basically, there's we have to ask ourselves, how do we bridge, how do we achieve change, how can we address people in order to manage change. I have a little exercise for you on this topic. Would you like just 1 minute? Are you prepared for the exercise?
No, è colpa mia, non lo sapevo. Io ho esteso lo schema, ma aperto lo schema, non sapevo che nulla nell'esercizio.
What I want you to do is, I want you to cross your arms, and I want you to check which arms are off. Okay? Most likely it's the same arm. But now I want you to cross the arms of the chest, the other arm.
Che si vede? Prova a vedere. Luca, cosa vedi?
Take the reverse, that's important. Thank you very much.
I'm asking now to Floriana Luisi from the ETM. In my organization,
Magari il problema. Bisogna dire altro?
Marianna.
Marianna Morleo? Morleo? No, Marianna Morleo. Perché hanno cambiato il computer? Non so cosa
Sì, perché non c'era la HDMI.
Can you hear me? Yeah, good. Very good. So hope you're good. Everything is okay. I will have a little presentation. I'll be quite quick, but I would like to share a little bit with you the journey that we have had in terms of craft and skills. Some of the faces I see here today are familiar to me, and some are new. So I'm taking this chance just to spend a minute, let's say, to tell you about who we are. So I come from the European Training Foundation. The European Training Foundation, there we go. That's one. Well, while we find the slide, I'll start telling you is an agency of the European Union. So we do belong to the EU family, headquartered in Brussels, but we are located in Turin, so in Italy. And we do work in terms of external action, meaning we have a special mandate. We are not working expressly with the EU country, like most agencies, but we do look and we work. Our activity are focusing on neighborhood countries. And we do work with them by knocking on the door and entering through the human capital development field, meaning that we try to support with our work in terms of education, of skills, and of course of labor systems as well. Just to give you an idea now, let me see if I got it right. Yeah. Geographically, where do we focus our attention? You see this map above all the countries of the European Union. We cluster four main regions. So we do work, and it's the pink region, in the southeastern Mediterranean country. We work in the Eastern Balkan, which you see here at green. We work in what we call the Eastern Partnership, so you see Ukraine, Moldova, but also Armenia, Georgia, the blue area. And then lastly, a bit more eastern in yellow, you see the Central Asian country, Pakistan, Kyrgyzstan, and so on. Now, why did we decided to focus our attention on craft? And why, obviously, we support skills. The skills now you saw our mandate, but you also saw our map. And obviously, the craft sector is a sector that is quite active in all of the countries we work with, geographically. There is a lot of artisanat. Let me think, for instance, I'm quite familiar with the Maghreb region. I think of all the carpet that are produced in this area, or the wool products that are produced in Central Asia. So there is a long-standing tradition that promotes this sector and that draws our attention. But of course, we also realize that it's not only a question of cultural heritage. So many times through the artisanats, obviously, we have a message that is related to the cultural heritage of the country. But it is also very much a question of social and economic issues. Is a sector that taps on also other sectors. I'm thinking of tourism. How many of us, even now in Italy, are interested maybe to find some product that is typical from the region, from the country, and at the same time, obviously, also open the doors to big industries. But I think it's important to look at craftsmanship also because we know very well that, and this is the word I use when I said inclusive economies in the title, it is also a driver for inclusion, meaning if I look especially at the country we work with, this is valid also for other countries, European Union and beyond. It is, let's say, providing work not only in urban area, but it goes and tap on rural and remote area. And it also offers the possibility for employment, sometimes giving the opportunity to young people to enter the labor market. Many times also to women, so it's also a gender issue in some countries. I personally work in Nigeria, and I know that for certain sectors, I don't see waitresses in restaurants or in hotels that are women. So through crafting, sometimes they are actually involved and employed because they do certain jobs that are maybe a little bit more opening the floor, so in their case, for them through their counter traditions. Now, today I just want to quickly share with you what was our journey with the work in craft. It's a journey that started back in 2021, and at first we decided to look at specific regions. We addressed our attention to the Eastern Partnership countries and some Central Asian countries. And we simply went through a mapping, trying to understand better what was the role played by the craft sector in those countries and how did it have an impact in terms of employment. A lot of things are not visible actually. It happened a little bit in what we call the red market. A lot of legal crafting is happening, but not in registered way, let's say. So it's been very challenging, but we conducted this work also through interviews and focus group that took place directly in the region and in the country. And obviously, it might seem like some obvious skills, and I mean, you could have thought of it, but it is applicable everywhere. The main, strongest skills that came out through this little mapping were related not only to entrepreneurial skills or creativity and design. And here we see that there is a lot of, let's say, piloting approaches also in this country, the neighbor country, by putting together the designer and the artisans so that they can actually provide a good that merge those two skills together. So there is a lot of this approach in schools and training centers. But it is also, let's say, a sector that is involved with what we live now in every sector, which is called the twin transition, digital and green. So you see here that it gets more and more important, of course, to keep up with technological skills. We do see not only 3D machine certain sectors, but also artificial intelligence. So making sure that possibly those tools do not substitute, which is the theory, but actually complement the sector, offer good ideas, new ideas, and maybe help also the process to be in place, but leaving the original hand-making production of it. And then, of course, the knowledge of material. People are becoming more and more sensitive about the origin of materials, if they do enter into the recycling circles and so on. And this requires, of course, also skills related to it. We decided to step ahead from this first phase, which was a bit of piloting, to look more into the future. So now we see, and we knew what was happening in our partner countries, some of them, in terms of raising skills for the sector. And we wanted actually to look ahead, to look at the future. Now I wonder how many of you have been involved in a foresight exercise? Could you raise your hands? Some of you I know because they were also in ours. So quite a few, but not all of you, I see. So I will spend just a few words to tell you that this is a practice that has been used, let's say, to visualize a potential long-term future. To put it in simple words, what did we do? We invited the so-called relevant stakeholders. So we invited artisans, we invited federations of artisans from different geographical regions. We wanted to have also the voice of the students from those schools, some teachers, but also policymakers, so people that work maybe into the Ministry of Culture, Ministry of Education, or crafts, of course, enterprises, small and medium enterprises as well, involved, and also stakeholders like international organizations. And we decided to do this exercise together with UNESCO, UNIDO, the Michelangelo Foundation, and the Union for the Mediterranean Research. So we asked those people during this day, let's say, to think long term, to open up, let's say, their fantasy and tell us how do they see this sector by 2050? How they would like to see the craft sectors by then. And there was a lot of discussion, of course, going on. But this discussion took mainly a vision. That is what you see here. Basically, this vision tapped into recognition. For instance, making sure the skills and resources are available to establish sustainable business. This vision also tapped into exchange of knowledge, a very important issue that has been mentioned this morning several times, the Erasmus process, projects through also exchange and e-learning that has been taking place. You see that there is a fostering for exchange, not only across territory, so we're talking geographically, but also across generations, to pass those skills and those know-how. And then there was a term that I liked a lot, with kind of baptized during this discussion, which was local. So the fact that in craft, we still want to produce locally, also for the issues that we just mentioned related to green, but not only because of the originality of the product, the tradition and the heritage, yet globally distributed. And to globally distribute, there are skills that you tap on as well. You have to be able to use platforms. You have to be able to speak languages to deal with your customers. Now, it is easy to have vision, but it's pretty challenging to find a way to put it in practice. It can be very, let's say, topic discussion. So the main issue of the exercise, and this is also to let you understand a bit how it works, is that we put the bar up to 2050 and we start there with this vision. And then we walk backward. We had an idea of how do we get to 2050 if we want to achieve those major issues that we put on our vision. How do we get there? How would it be in 2040, so to be there at 2050? And how about 2030? So we live basically in terms of, in short terms, let's say it was 2023 and we live in 2030. We had a medium range by 2040, and then finally to the final goal, which was the 2050 vision. Now, what it came down in order to put this in practice was to cluster activities and actions that we thought would be necessary to reach this vision. And we clustered them in 5 groups that you see in my slide here. Well, the first point was, of course, and this was provoked by policymakers, but also by practitioners, the lack of data. There are a lot of data here and there, but do we have globally access to some data? So, of course, ideas came out by, let's say, having a multi-stakeholders data gathering exercise, locally and regional, which will allow people from the world to bring down their data and give some evidence. Because at the end of the day, also political, let's say, directions should be evidence-based. So to give them, let's say, the food to put in practice certain things at the strategy policy level. There was an idea, for instance, I remember, for creating a word crafting interactive map, also to establish an open source of knowledge, where you could access and get data related to the sector, skills and so on, but related to this issue that was digitally reachable, so easy to access. We talk about engagement in terms of raising awareness, so possibly give the value that it deserves to the craft sector, recognizing its importance towards also the cultural aspects, but also the aspect of the heritage, the economic and social, the inclusive aspect that I mentioned to you before. And how do we do that? Maybe proposing some awareness campaign through some ambassadors. This is more short term. And if we go more on long term, I remember we even reached at some point the idea of organizing, let's say, the Crafts Olympics. So really having an event that is regularly organized that put the attention on this sector. And then, of course, financially, there was also the idea that it's important to get support and reinforce those platforms that allow artisans to sell directly to consumers. And at the same time, possibly to support the living wage, because one of the main issues that, of course, students nowadays perceive it as a sector where they don't want to invest too much because in easy word, they're not going to get rich. Actually, they're going to struggle with it. It doesn't give you such a good income. So it will be important to get also some support if we talk about strategy, long-term strategy, even in policies, to offer them the possibility to devote their time to creativity and hands production, which require possibly more time than the massive production, because they do get also some support. Quality, of course, was also at the center of their attention. It is very important that to make sure, at least in the short term, that there is quality standard respected in line with the principle that we just shared, but also maybe to facilitate this not only by combating the sort of counterfeit of goods. This is for me an unpronounceable word. I'm sorry for it, but also to maybe support it by implementing tax break, or to create also some, let's say, ingredient label. We talk about also a quality mark that will allow kind of passports of goods that will allow and certify a certain standard action. And last but not least, because this is the point that interests us most, the learning and skills aspect. It interests us most because it's our daily work. But if we still couldn't disconnect, of course, this from a vision that tap on all of those aspects. So it was more holistic, this approach. And talking about learning and skill, of course, if we look at the short term, and I look at Giovanni here because obviously Center of Excellence could definitely play a role in supporting the implementation of skills that are needed in providing them. And then obviously possibly to support the proximity of craft by inserting them into curricula at an early stage, offering, for instance, through labs, the possibility also to kids to understand a little bit what is the craft work, what it is about, to explore and experience it themselves. Having some career guidance also for school leaders that could also tackle the sector. And also offering, and we talked about this quite largely, so I just want to mention it, but I think through this platform and the recognition of non-formal learning, Giovanni already mentioned it, and also those macro credentials. So creating ad hoc training that responds to this fast-changing world, especially in terms of technology. And obviously, we don't have to deny or forget that also teachers that of course has to put in place all of this work need a constant updates of teacher training in this regard. If you want to know more about this, you have the publication on your table, is the blue one. You will have there a little bit of insights from the first phase, but mainly a description and a more insight descriptive of the findings of this exercise that we did. So I close it here, and if you have any question, please, I'm available. Thank you very much.
We join up to connect with Anna Maria Forleo in Italian reference point coordinator. Ale, excellent.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, you can.
Ritorno comunque. So, I'm Marianna Forleo, and I'm here as a member of the National Reference Point of ECAVET. I want to thank you for your invitation to the 10th edition of Skillman International Forum, and also on behalf of the coordinator of ECAVET National Reference Point, Laura Evangelista, and the vice coordinator, Concetta Afonso. Just a second. Okay, here we are. So I want to present our work and our speech about the quality in the era of the twin transition and the role of the centers of vocational excellence in the framework of European recommendation. So I want to start saying that the ECAVET quality assurance framework comes from a recommendation of the EU Parliament and Council in 2009, and means a European-wide framework established to support quality assurance in VET across Europe and European members. ECAVET is not system, actually does not prescribe a specific quality assurance system, but provides a framework of common principles, indicative descriptors and indicators, and it's a guideline that may help in assessing and improving the quality of vet systems and provision. So we can just mention that ECAVET is based on a quality assurance and improvement cycle composed by 4 phases: planning, implementation, evaluation, or assessment and review. And as I already said, a selection of quality descriptors and indicators applicable to quality management both at vet system and providers level. The structure of ECAVET, it's important to mention that the recommendation in 2020 quoted ECAVET again and marked its importance also by extending this framework and these tools from IVET to CVET, and pointing out also that these tools can be used by providers and in systems to support the quality assurance as a whole, in the meaning of all learning environments, all types of learning contexts, all public and private sectors, and awards and qualification at all levels of EQF. So it's a fundamental tools that englobes everything. The European recommendation, last one in 2020, states also the relevance of the Center of Vocational Excellence, which is one of the points we want to indicate in this speech. Indeed, a quality national reference point for vocational education and training brings together all stakeholders at national and regional level to take concrete initiative to implement the ECAVET framework, to inform and mobilize a wide range of stakeholders, support self-evaluation, and actively participate in the European network for quality assurance in VET, as well as provide an updated description of the national quality assurance arrangement based on ECAVET framework and, let's say, guidelines. Indeed, also engage in at European level peer reviews of quality assurance as an important and remarkable tool to enhance the transparency and consistency of quality assurance arrangements and reinforce trust between the member states. So the Italian ECAVET national reference point is placed in INAP in Rome and established in 2006. Its aims are promoting a national board, including delegates from the Ministry of Labor and the Education, the region and the Italian autonomous provinces, the social partners, as well as all the expert and representative of the Italian providers, vocational education and training. And this is the national reference point actually favor and encourages the application of the recommendation and guidelines by the European Commission and supports the national process and the development of a national quality assurance strategy in VET. So actually, what we want to go in depth about the centers of vocational excellence, called also COVE, mentioned in the recommendation. Indeed, the European Union aims at introducing a new dimension of vocational excellence, both encouraging member states to establish this institutions, contributing to create ecosystems, skills ecosystems, responding to territorial and local needs, and at the same time wants to support international networks with also actually an innovative, let's say, shape, bringing together covers that share a common interest in developing ecosystems. And the main founding for covers are Erasmus Plus program and the International Self-Assessment Tool for Centers of Vocational Excellence. So actually, the concept of vocational excellence promoted by the European Union is something that must be a bit explained, because at the main characteristic is the learner-centered approach. And in this sense, that is a part of this skills ecosystem and contributes to regional development and to specific industrial ecosystems. That is part of, let's say, triangular, working with other education and training sectors, the scientific community, and businesses, which are a very important part. And also enables learner to acquire both job specific as well as key competence through high quality provision. That's why the quality is so important in this process. And the building of innovative form of partnership with the world, with the labor market, is supported by the professional development of training staff, innovative pedagogies, learners, and staff mobility, as well as the international strategies. So now we want to mention the national pilot research, which was launched by the National Reference Point in 2023, to establish a group of experts aimed at mapping quality assurance mechanism and tools with a few objectives. To facilitate the relationship among the education and vocational training system, among bodies that are different but deal with a similar target in terms of age, training needs, and with the view to mutual growth. Then to verify the tools and mechanism of quality assurance in the models of COVES, to raise the quality of the supply of education and vocational training, to disseminate new tools aimed to encourage and favor continuous improvement of the quality of the training supply, and mostly self-assessment and external evaluation by peers as a peer review. And the goals or the activities plan were the following: identification of expert and actors according with the partnership approved already as COVES, establishment of a common language and understanding, an exchange of integration between education and training structure which operate in different sector, territorial, managerial, and so on. So actually, we wanted with the methodology of this pilot project is the following. So focus group with national experts and representatives took place, as well as in-depth interviews to select high-level expert. And then, indeed, a total of 16 high-level experts from different institutions, from 13 different institutions were involved, including also the world of higher education. And this focus group were built in 1 year, from May 2023 to April 2024, as planned. And the National Reference Point elaborated a semi-structured questionnaire in 2 online sessions and online in-depth interviews. The focus group and interviews allowed a quick overview of the information available at the level of the COVE. And the qualitative research we're dealing with included the following results. Identification of practices on the basis of the outline used for conducting the pilot research, the use of the knowledge and expertise of the group of experts and representatives during the research, and deepening and comparison of theory with practice by ENAP researchers interested in the topic quality assurance in COVE. So actually we can sum up in the need to identify and develop dedicated quality assurance measure for COVE. So, in other words, organizations have managed to adapt the quality procedures to meet their organizational needs and have tried to harmonize their internal quality system with the requirement of providers. And focus group emphasized the use of simpler, less elaborate tools, for instance, the indicator and standard use in European project and programs such as Erasmus Plus, for example. So we say that we want to actually give a meaning of the excellence of vocational of COVE, what the European Commission means. So this exercise of mapping enabled the formulation of this, let's say this meaning, and a deeper understanding of quality and quality assurance in relation to this vocational excellence. So we actually underlined how quality assurance is understood across Europe, when where different approaches and tools have place, and the ambition expressed by COVES and other strategic actors to improve the quality and excellence. It's a very ambitious project. So excellence and quality means going beyond provision, and this is the main, let's say, meaning, the main quotation of excellence and quality for European Commission, but also means having in place strategic and systematic quality assurance plans and processes for putting together local and regional agendas for sustainability and economic development, moving from a position of passive to proactive position. So means to be proactive to quality management and control for the implementation of innovative strategies. Means that all the distinction about sectors are disappeared, and there is a very easy access to high levels of education, and means that for the future we are aware that there is a need to test and pilot also other European tools for quality assurance at sectoral level, such as the ESG, the European Standards and Guidelines, as well as ECAVET framework, and mostly also the peer review methodology, which is very very mentioned in a European recommendation. And for this, I want to remind that our national reference point has been invited as a peer in this system level peer review about the building, the construction of COVE systems, and it has been launched by Bulgaria last month. And you can also find all the results on internet, on the on internet. So this is what COVE and the excellence of vocational training means for European programs and European recommendation. And this is what for the future we think it's the need to proceed. Thank you for your attention.
Online contributor for his keynote speech. Mr. Supra is a KDI, comes from KDI School of Public Policy and Management from Korea. Can you hear us?
Hello, can you hear me? Okay, thanks very much. Thanks very much, Giovanni, for a kind introduction. As Giovanni introduced, my name is Song-Sup Ra. I am a visiting professor at Korean Development Institute, Schools of Public Policy and Management in Korea. Today, I'd like to extend my gratitude to Dr. Giovanni for inviting me to this esteemed forum. I am so pleased to know that this forum envisages the establishment of a center of the vocational excellency in Tuscany in Italy. I'm so happy to hear about that. This morning, I would like to share my thoughts on future of skill development in Asia amidst eras of disruptive technology. In this presentation, I will begin by setting context and then propose the approaches for advancing skill development. Among many factors, these 5 key elements characterize and also are shaping the skill development landscape in Asia. The first important context is diverse patterns in growth, capacity, and human capital level. Asian country demonstrates a mix of patterns in terms of growth capacity and human capital, measured by learning adjusted by years of schooling. Asian the first mover country, such as Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, maintain moderate levels of human capital, while latecomer countries like India, Bangladesh, Cambodia, and Myanmar shows significant growth potential but require substantial investment in human capital. As these two groups of the emerging economy grow, the demands for advanced and middle-level skill will surge. In this diagram, the size of each circle represented the GDP. Second, the impact of technology and automation on nature of work. Technological advancements and automation changes the nature of work from routine to non-routine, analytical, and also interactive. Although technology may not result in net job losses overall, as you can see in this diagram, it is indeed disrupting certain sectors and groups of the workforce, particularly those in routine jobs. This underscores the critical need to acquire new skills as old ones become obsolete. As you can see here, the bookshelf life become uncertain. It is very, very important to acquire new skill and then establish such a skill development system. You here also have a diagram showing that probability of computerization, and you can see that the most of the job will disappear, but and then also most of the routine job will disappear. Now, in the third one, I'd like to talk about global value chain participation by countries in Asia. Most of Asian countries are still in early stage of participating in global value chains. In order to transit to higher GVC participation, it is very important for investing in skill development. This diagram illustrates that only few countries with substantial investment in skill and human capital have successfully transited to the innovation phases. As you can see here, only Japan, Korea, Singapore were able to transit to innovation phase. Other countries, a long way to go. Fourth, I want to really talk about importance of the innovation as a driver of sustainable growth. Innovation is pivotal for sustainable economic growth. However, low-income countries such as here Bangladesh and Nepal, India, Cambodia are lagging in terms of innovation. This one results in significant regional divide among Asian countries. As you can see here, big divide in between advanced country and also most of the Asian country. Breaching this gap will require targeted efforts to foster innovation capacity. Finally, I want to talk about double burden in skills development in Asia. Many Asian countries face dual challenges of addressing legacy issues in skill development while simultaneously preparing for the future. Balancing these two competing priorities is essential for sustainable growth and competitiveness. As you can see here, the most of Asian countries has a serious mismatch in terms of skill and lack of industrial partnership, very weak institutional capacity, and also weak support for innovation. And here, while ago, the European context, you talk about qualification framework and also the industrial linkage. All those you talk about, but this one is very, very lagging behind in Asian country. So they have a dual burden, addressing this kind of legacy issue, at the same time preparing your future. Here now, I like to propose 6 approaches to address the challenges and also the exploit opportunities in Asian country. First, I propose is extremely important to make a skill development as an integral part of economic development. Here is one example I took from Korea. Around the mid-70s, the industry in Korea was labor intensive, usually like garment industry, and that requires only low-skilled workers. At the time in Korea, they invest a lot for technical vocational high school. In Korea, they have it vocational high school. Mid 1980s, 1980 and 1990s, the Korean government started to develop capital intensive industry. At that time, what they need was technician. So that they invested for the Polytech. 2000, around the 2000, that mid 2000, they moved to the tech intensive industry. For them, innovation become important. Then they focus on university. Recently, Korea is more knowledge-based economy, and now the scientists become very important. Academic industry collaboration become very important because now the school alone cannot do it because the industry like Samsung, they are leading, so they have to work together. So the many countries skill development is not really integral part of economic development policy. But here I propose that it's important to put skill development as a really integral part of the economic policy. Second, I like to propose importance for prioritizing innovation for tomorrow's key challenge area. Often when we talk about skill development, we are talking about demand driven. What is meaning demand driven? Demand responsive. There are two demands from the past, demands from the future. We have to balance this together. If we just only focus on reactively to meet the demands from industry, the current one, you never become a leading edge countries. It is important to be forward looking when you develop a skill development system. For poor country, perhaps they cannot make it a whole system forward looking. Perhaps they need more focus on the current one. But for even those countries, it is very important to invest for future. Maybe perhaps 5% or 10% of the budget for skill development they invest for future. For the middle income and advanced country, it is important to increase their priority for their future. Third, importance of partnership. Public-private enterprise, the partnership become very important in terms of financing and governance and designing and delivery of the skill development. Here I give some example of the partnership. There are all different kind of partnership. For example, China is very much like government driven. Japan more enterprise driven. India is very unique. They have more private sector providers. All different. There's no one solution. However, it is important to create and then promote partnership. Another important partnership will be academic and industry partnership. Here is one model was Samsung and small medium company, how they work together using the university. In this bridge model, in between there are university. University bridge the gap, bridge the serve as like bridges between big corporate and SME. A while ago, I heard it that talk about craft skill in meaning small enterprise. And then those small enterprise, they can perhaps also work together with the big enterprise. And then for that, the university and polytech can play important role. Fourth, importance of collaboration, cooperation, and convergence. Throughout the COVID, we knew, it's not just only health issue. It is an economic issue. It is a physical issue. It is a social issue, and also is a designing of the spatial design issue. A lot of issue. For example, during the COVID period, we know that the transport sector they have to work with the health sector and also hospitality industry. When we talk about agriculture, now we talk about smart agriculture. We talk about smart car, but it's like the convergence between the ICT and AI and also the mobility. Here is one example, the One Health. Throughout COVID, we knew without addressing animal and environment health, we cannot really never address the pandemic issue. So we have to work together. The environment, the health people, and animal health people, human health people, and transport people, even computer people. They have to work together. So convergence, collaboration is extremely important now. So we have to redesign skill development program so that we can, work multidisciplinary way. Fourth, fifth, focus on learnability. I mentioned a while ago about fusion. Operate the mix of the general and specific skill because of skill will go away. Whatever learn is one really stay. Won't be important. You have to relearn. You have to and then learn again or unlearn also whatever you learn. You have to also have it now. The soft skill is a hard skill. Yes, it's important, but soft skill become extremely important. For all those, it is very important to focus on learning ability for the skill development for each trainee, for learner. We need to enhance their ability to learn, ability to relearn, ability to unlearn. Work-based in this context is not only for school-based learning. Work-based learning become very important. It is also very important to recognize multiple and also open learning channels like MOOCs. Approach number 6. There are a lot, but I just want to focus on importance of long-term programmatic support for skill development. For skill development, we are dealing with the empowering human. It requires time, long-term investment, and programmatic, step-by-step investment. It's just one day, like cooking from the baby chicken. You cannot just cook right away. You need a wait of time. You need to have a longer term investment. In this context, I think Skillman's initiatives and also initiatives now, this forum want to initiate. That's become very important. And also international collaboration is so important. European country in the advanced, there are a lot to you can also offer to the developing country. At the same time, you can also benefit from by collaborating with the developing country. I like to emphasize importance of the collaborating and the importance of the your initiative. That become very important to make it a global skill ecosystem much more robust and also the sustainable. Thank you very much.
Connected with the different time, so thank you very much for him. We are in a big delay, but before, can we ask also a short introduction of the two boats that we have? And okay, please, can you call them?
I call quickly Nicola Camore and Sergio Brunetti. say a few words. They have two stands. One is in the room, the other one is outside, so they can tell you what you can expect. Hello, I will still only a brief moment. I'm Nicola Camurri. Tomorrow I will be glad to speak with you about our activities. But if today you want to taste some of the technologies and experiences that we provide, and we will talk about it tomorrow, we have a little stand with TripAdvisors where you can taste some of our technology. I kindly and I particularly suggest you to take an experience with the Dante Noir. That is a very amazing project and that is not as enjoyable without advisors. So please find me and my colleague Benedetta Masolini at the reception, and we will enjoy your experience with a couple of some moments on virtual reality. Thank you very much.
Everybody, from ICA, the Italian Association for Information Technology. We have prepared an assessment in English for testing cybersecurity. So we invite you kindly you to participate to this assessment. You may scan this QR code at the table over there, and we will give you the results as soon as a proper number of participants will be. So thank you. We have also have thank you very much. So we move to the next speech is from Elisa Guidi, Director of Architects. Thanks for your passionate
Thank you, everybody. I will be very short. My speech will stay as a nutshell. So, yes, I know we are out of time, so I will be really, really short. Just a few words about architects, because it's something a little bit different from all the speeches we heard this morning. Architects is a private company. It was founded in 1987 by the two main craft associations in Tuscany, Siena and Artigianato, and starting from the early 90s, we are specialized in crafts, in fine craft, we can say, because there is a difference of definition of craft. Craft means, in Italy, means all kinds of micro, small and medium enterprises, really craftswork and craftsmanship. So it's different from the English definition of craft. We speak about artigianato artist. So we can call it artistic craft or fine craft. Anyway, we are specialized. We have been working in this field since the early 90s, and we work on different different level, from the local level, because we are the partner of the municipality of Florence for all policies and activities to promote, valorize, and protect the craft. And we work also with the regional government in Tuscany. We are the Center for Artistic and Traditional Craft, but we are also part of some important network, Skillman, of course, but also the European Craft Alliance, and we are also involved in several EU projects targeting craft. So we work from local to international level, always speaking about craft. Sometimes not only craft, it goes about creative industries, because we have some project in which we link the craft with design or with other creative industries or activities. Of course, we are also dealing now with technologies and with the digital, with the green transition, and not only that. I'm starting like urged by the Riga Declaration, because I think for the first time in the Riga Declaration, Skillman was approaching craft and anyway creative industries and creative economy. And I think it's really, really interesting, because we need to speak about craft in many other sectors, and we need to speak about other sectors like digitalization, innovation, green transition, and so on, when we speak about craft. Craft is an intersectoral sector. And it's interesting because this morning Giovanni speaking about the Renaissance with Brunelleschi, Leonardo, and so on. And we are now, we can say that we are now in a new renaissance for the craft sector in Europe. There is a growing interest to the craft sector and to creative industries in Europe after the COVID-19 pandemic, because it's a sector that can create a link with from between society and cultural heritage, because it's a very important economic helix through Europe. So, I mean, we are really seeing a new renaissance of interest toward craft. And it's important also because, for instance, in France, they have just made a research, and there is a growing number of young entrepreneurs in the craft sector under 35. So, I mean, it's also a new way to develop entrepreneurship and also to open a new activity in economic sector. And it's important because, of course, we spoke about in the Riga Declaration about the fact, yes, craft is interesting now, it's observed, but there is one of the point of weakness for craft is the skills transmission, upskilling and reskilling. So all the work of skills and skills transmission is a little bit weak in the craft sector. So we need to work on it all together to help craft to develop, but also use the craft to develop other sectors. A few words about the Tracks for Craft project that was also presented before. This is an Horizon project, and it was funded. It's the first call, I think, in the history of Horizon open to the craft sector, craft and creative industries. And it's led by yes, was somewhere. Yeah, and there is artwork and heritage in the same work. Yeah, I don't speak German, I understand a little bit. Yeah. It's unfortunately in Italy every European conference or European project to understand what we are speaking about when we speak about craft. Sometimes it's not so clear also in each country. So, I mean, anyway, Tracks for Craft is a Horizon project led by the University of Antwerp, and I should thank Giovanni because he involved us in this project. And it's interesting because we are speaking in this project about the transmission of craft skills and techniques and so on, and trying to update this kind of transmission and of yes, to update all these processes to transfer skills. We have four lines of action, and so transform learning processes into physical spaces where sorry. No, sì, okay. Into physical spaces, develop new functionality through digital technologies, design tools and methods to enable the acquisition and optimization of the value of craftsmanship, and create a network to promote and disseminate the social and economic value of the craft sector. This is important because this morning we have spoken about cultural, social, and economic value of craft, and this is really important. And we have a document that I will share with you later, the International Charter for Artistic Craftsmanship that we created in 2009-2010, and that involved many partners. And I think it was the very first time in which we focused on these three values for craft, because usually we speak about craft thinking about the cultural value, but this is really important in Italy and also in Europe as in economic sector, because micro and small and medium enterprises are the really fabric, economic fabric of Italy and Europe, and also towards social value, because craft companies are rooted in territories, are rooted in citizenships. So I mean, it's an interesting sector to be analyzed also from different point of view. Also, for instance, for urbanism and city development, almost most of all after the COVID-19 experience. Tracks for Craft, we have 8 pilot cases. Those pilot cases will experiment different kind of skills transmission or skills creation to in different sectors. You can say there are different countries involved, and in each country we have a different fabric, a different organization of the craft sector. And we have the Netherlands, Iceland, Belgium, Switzerland, Romania, Greece, the Netherlands once again, and Artex. We are the pilot case for Italy, and we are working on the ceramic sector. This is our pilot case, Ceramic Future, and we are conducting this pilot case on ceramics. And we decided to work in 2 phases. The first phase was about webinar. So short webinar, 1 hour, to involve as many companies or craft people or students as possible, to give them some information and to give them more awareness about craft entrepreneurship and new technologies and digital twin transition and so on. The second phase was about 3 physical workshops that we have just organized in our city, Florence, and if you are coming in Florence in the next days, it will be a pleasure for me to invite you to visit our city, which is an old ancient building, property of the municipality of Florence, in which are located 25 craft workshops, and there are also rooms for conferences, the ceramic workshops, and so on. Anyway, we organized 3 physical workshops dealing with 3D printings for ceramics and innovation through tradition. So how inspire new products looking at heritage and traditional productions. And the third one about restoration, because we need to think that craft can help us in a circular economy and anyway in a more sustainable economy. Of course, not only craft, also other creative industries, but anyway, craft is important because it deals with products, with physical products. Some design directions that I think will be interesting also for the Skillman Villa project, because first of all, we had some conversation with stakeholders, I mean association, producers, and public entity, and so on, dealing with craft. And the first topic was also that there is a need of physical places in which craft people can meet, can exchange, but can also exchange with different expertise, like technical expertise and research, results, and so on. So, I mean, the physical places are really important, are still really important, and I think perhaps they will be more and more important because we need to meet physically in some places. And also because physical places could be also physical service centers in which you can give some services, you can give some advices, you can meet the consultant, expert consultant, and so on. The second point that I think it's interesting and that we are experimenting, we have been experimenting for several years nowadays, it's to transmit technical knowledge in a physical mode. As I told you before, the first big audience for digital webinars, digital communication, in which we can improve awareness about new topics, digital transition, sustainable transition, circular economy, all different topics. And then we can go deeper on some topics in a physical way. And we find that this is a good way to work with craft people and young craft people, not only old companies, but also with students, also with designers. It's easier to merge competencies in a digital way and then work together in a physical way. So we experimented that, and I think it will be interesting, and it will be also interesting for the Skillman Villa, because physical and with a digital preparation and the digital explanation that come before. And then, of course, technical accessible training. Here I'm speaking about, we use the term training, but we speak also about upskilling and reskilling, not only the training on the hard skills about craft or about other creative industries, but it's important also to find a place where upskill and reskill to transform, as was told before, activities and to make them more adapted to the actual challenges and to the actual situation. Let's stop. But anyway, I finished. I don't know what is happening. But okay, it's just to give you my contact data, and it will be a pleasure to explain, to exchange with you later. Okay.
Thank you very much, Elisa. For those who don't know in detail the projects already, I really invite you to have a look because it's quite innovative when it comes to this kind of Paolo Sospiro, our last speaker, which is always a nice responsibility, especially when you fly late. Thank you for inviting me, and I will be really briefly, considering that we are quite running out of time. And
That's one thing.
yeah,
This is the last speech.
yeah,
We have Paolo is one of our board members, Elisa member, and the members over the world, like we had Supra, our honorable member, and we have here also a member representing Canada, for example. So we have other members that will to the microphone, because today there were no space for letting everybody to all of them to speech. So tomorrow we have someone which is not included in the program today. Thank you.
thank you very much. In fact, yeah. Okay, so I should talk about sustainability. In this case, I'm Paolo Sospiro from Polytechnical University of Marche, and then the campus, and then you about in Brussels, which is a think tank. So actually, in terms of let's say sustainability, what we are understanding is, of course, we talk always about the circular economy. We talk about, green transition, which means, let's say, applying or using, let's say, the digitalization of it to become more sustainable and so on. At the end, let's say, the most, let's say, challenging area on becoming, more sustainable, or becoming more circular and so on. It is that we have a very long, generally speaking, many, let's say, sectors and so on. We have a long, let's say, value chain, and this long, wide value chain, most of the companies and most of the companies are micro and small companies, enterprises, which generally they produce, let's say, byproducts for the, let's say, for the business to consumers companies, which are the owners of brands. Think about, the fashion industry. We have Gucci, we have Armani, we have Louis Vuitton, and so on. But generally speaking, they have a very long, wide, let's say, value chain, and they generally ask to these micro and small companies to be certified, be more sustainable, and so on. But the main point for them, it is very difficult because they are really very small and very small companies and so on. So what we are working at the moment regarding these small micro companies, it is to develop a system of OLCA. Actually, most of us, we know what that doesn't mean. LCA, that means life cycle assessment. But for these companies, which they don't have, have their own product, they produce a byproduct for the final, let's say, destination, which are, the business consumers companies such as Gucci and so on. So generally, for them, it is really difficult to get, an LCA. So in this case, we are working on developing a kind of organizational LCA. That means a kind of a certification of the company which is sustainable in different ways and so on. This can be a different way in order to give them the opportunity to understand where they stand in terms of circular economy and work in order to become more sustainable according to energy, water exploitation, and let's say raw material, intermediate material, and so on. And then do let's say running let's say investments in order to become more sustainable and so on. Which, on the other hand, it means as well as to reduce costs and become more efficient and so on. Then I would like to conclude this my intervention, reminded that for most of these companies, the main problem it is of course the human capital, and this is where they need definitely a support by institutions, by the universities, by the high schools, and of course by an organization such as Skillman members, in order to develop new ways on, let's say, increase and adapt let's say, the competency skills of the workers in such a small companies, which are mostly, I mean, micro and small companies, which means between, let's say, 2, 3, 5, and 15, let's say, personal staff. That's it. Thank you very much, and I will be happy to share with you next.
We finished this morning session with Carlos' intervention. We have a lunch break. We are delayed, but there's still quite some generous time. We will come back at 3. We'll have a quick introduction, then we will move into two different parallel sessions. One is for Villa Medici, and another one to Skillman.eu, telling us story of integration. You have received information on which are the possibilities to meet there. And I invite you to be here at 3 sharp, because one of the two professors